All right, so I saw this in the news. I saw this all over the internet, and this is pissing me off. All of America is pissing me off right now, and I needed to say my piece about this. So, if you didn't hear, the House recently passed the Sunshine Protection Act, and what this intends to do is make daylight savings time, which is what we have right now. That means the sun sets later in the day and rises later, permanent. If you didn't know, this is far from the first time in U.S. history that a bill of this nature has passed through Congress, but only one house of Congress. In 2022, the Senate passed the exact same bill, but it died in the House. So now in 2026, the House has passed the bill, but it hasn't passed the Senate. Every flippin' time that our Congress passes this bill, goobers go, they call their senators, they post in the comments, no, I want permanent standard time. This is awful for our health, blah, 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 blah. Whenever an opposite bill passes to make standard time permanent, the same thing happens and nothing gets done. And this is what I'm pissed off about, for real. It doesn't matter whether it's permanent daylight savings time or standard time. People argue until they're blue in the face on this on the internet. And okay, wherever the sun rises at whatever time, where you're at in the time zone is affected by that. So if you're in Chicago, which is very far east in the central time zone, guess what? The sun is going to rise earlier in the morning, and it is going to set earlier in the day because you're far west or you are far east in the time zone. Flip that, so let's say instead of Chicago, you're in northern Indiana, northeast Indiana, because the central time zone bleeds into Gary, it's weird. The opposite will be true. If you're in daylight savings time, the sun might set at 10:20 in the evening, so people are arguing with each other until they're blue in the face over daylight savings time versus standard time, and the reality is, your time zone affects that. It's like, so when these sleep scientists or whatever, and people are trying to frame this as like, what's better for our health, it's like, there's going to be weirdness, like arbitrary weirdness, based on how we allocate time zones. So, like, if you don't like standard time or you don't like daylight savings time, like, your state or your county can vote to change what time zone you're in. The problem isn't whether you're in daylight savings time or standard time. The problem is the time change itself. It's all arbitrary. The government doesn't want you to know this, but you're allowed to wake up and go to bed whenever you want. You can make your own choices in life. Now, if you're a kid in school, you don't really have that option, but guess what? If you're a kid in school, you don't get to vote anyway. So yeah, that's how our society works. But yeah, I just had to like say my piece about this. I'm very for the Sunshine Protection Act. I just think it's time to get rid of this time zone or this time change. Oh, and a quick riff on that. There have been studies. So for all the people concerned trolling about like daylight savings time being bad for your health or whatever, there are studies that when we move the clocks back and people lose an hour of sleep, heart attacks spike, strokes spike, and automobile fatalities spike. There is a negative health impact on the time zone change. And when you do this arbitrary thing where it's like, okay, well, this time of year, like we all lose an hour of sleep and then it takes a week for our sleep cycles to catch up, or longer if you're a laggard like me, that has negative health impacts. And if you just agree on like, we're not going to do the time change anymore, society is going to come to an equilibrium. And if people want to concern troll about like, oh, the kids in school, you can go to your local county, like, or your local school system and lobby like, hey, we want school to open up 30 minutes later. That's valid. You can do that. You don't need to rely on like the federal government inconveniencing everybody just so your kids like, anyway, it's starting to rain a lot more now. I said what I'm going to say, but I think that people need to chill out about this and see it as a good thing.